Lather. I own Moon Shadow Inn and Resort in Beach. Hi, my name is Phil Lather. I own Moon Shadow Inn and Resort in Beach Lake, Pennsylvania. That is Wayne County, PA. Back in 2021, my son Lance had a probation hearing. I attended that hearing. In the courtroom was wearing a mask, but the judge and the people working for the courtroom. Well, I took my mask down for a second and the judge said, "Mr. Lather, you get that mask back on." And I said, "Well, you're not even wearing one." She said, "I will hold you in contempt." So I put my mask back on. When I left there, I was pretty pissed off and said, "Oh, the rules are just for us and not for you, huh? Okay." Well, I filed a complaint with the Department of Health. Okay, my sister that ran legal aid called and said, "What did you do?" I said, "I filed a complaint with the Department of Health." "Who does the judge think that she is? She's above the law?" She said, "Well, yeah, well, now everybody's wearing a mask, including the guy cutting the grass." And I said, "Good, that's the way it should be. If I have to wear it, you have to wear it." Anyway, a couple months later, I did a rent to own on my home. Gentleman flew up from Florida, looked at my home in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, said, "I'll take that deal." He went back to Florida, and in 4 months' time, they were building on the land without permits. I went to the house and told the guy, "You can't build on this land without permits. You don't even own this land yet. This is a rent to own. You got to pay me first before you own it, and you can do things like this." This is what the guy did. He pulled a handgun on me. See the gun? That resulted in the entire sheriff's department being there. Then the guy took an entire dumpster load of trash, carried it over 2 houses and threw it in the neighbor's yard. That resulted in the Environmental Protection Agency being there. Oh, see the federal license plate? Anyway, I went downtown to get a lawyer. A guy walked up to me and said, "I'll tell you, I saw your pictures online. I'll tell you who you got in your house. The father from down in Florida dropped them off in Honesdale, and they rented my dad's family home, and they put Aflac insurance on everything in the home and burned it to the ground." He said, "That's who you got in your house." I said, "Oh boy, I got some real winners here." I went and hired a lawyer, gave the lawyer $1,000. He wanted $1,000 retainer and said, "I'll start the process to get those people out of there." I gave him a list of all of the way they violated the agreement, the breach of contract. 5 months later, the lawyer still did nothing at all while I was paying all the utilities, and they wasn't paying the rent to own or doing anything. They just took over my house, and they were building on the land without permits and all kinds of stuff. Well, anyway, after 5 months, the attorney did nothing. I then turned around and went and hired another lawyer to go after the first lawyer to get my $1,000 back, and then file in court for breach of contract. 2 weeks before the hearing, my attorney suffered 2 massive strokes from the COVID shot. He got the COVID shot, had 2 massive strokes, and called me and said, "Mr. Lather, I'm in a VA hospital. I've had 2 massive strokes. I filed for a continuance. The courts are backed up from COVID, and it's going to be a while." I said, "Okay." 2 weeks later, my sister Joanne called me, that runs legal aid in the courthouse, and said, "You know, you had a hearing yesterday?" I said, "No, I didn't. It was postponed because my lawyer had a stroke." She said, "Well, guess what? The judge did not continue it. She had the hearing without you, and she awarded specific performance and gave them your $200,000 house." I said, "Oh, okay." I was pretty pissed off. contacted the attorney. Well, actually, I contacted the attorney's wife because I wasn't able to get a hold of him. He was in a hospital bed. She said, if he's coherent, I'll try to tell him. The judge, or he filed for an extension on the appeal process from the hospital bed. It was denied. We don't get to go to court. They get my house, and we don't get to go to court. Okay? Now, we know why all this happened. So I filed with the Disciplinary Board of Pennsylvania for an investigation with the Supreme Court. And they found that my attorney had 2 strokes and that I was denied procedural due process and that the judge took my house away and gave it to the people, and I never even went inside of a courtroom. Okay? Now, after they did the investigation a year later, those people went back to the same judge and got a $30,000 judgment against me because there was still a mortgage on the house. And specific performance that was ordered meant no encumbrances or any liens or anything. So, the judge ordered a $30,000 judgment against me. Now, keep in mind, I'd never even been inside of a courtroom for 2 seconds. Not even 2. Okay? So now, the sheriff's department rolls up to my historic bar, restaurant, hotel, and my place is absolutely beautiful. I have an amazing place here. That's the Constitution that I took to the courtroom with me. Anyway, where was I? Okay, the judge awarded the $30,000 judgment, and the sheriff came to my bar, restaurant, hotel to sell my Harley, my truck, my guitars, my antiques, and everything so they could pay off the house for the people that I never had a chance to go to court against because my lawyer had 2 strokes. Clearly poisoned fruit from the poison tree. So I went and got another lawyer, lawyer number 3. Lawyer number 3 said, oh, you're caught in a racketeering scheme, son. You've got to file for bankruptcy right away or they're going to get everything you own. So I filed for bankruptcy. I've been paying about $1,000 a month now in the bankruptcy to stop them from coming to rob everything I own. All of a sudden I get a letter, we're going to dismiss your bankruptcy. And so they can come in and start robbing everything I own. I do a little digging and find out why they're going to dismiss my bankruptcy. They're going to dismiss my bankruptcy because the trustee happens to be the first lawyer that stole my $1,000 that I hired the second lawyer to go get and get it back from me. So the judge retaliated against me and the first lawyer retaliated against me as in the trustee form. And here I am waiting for the sheriff to come and take all of my possessions. And I told the sheriff, when you come to get the rest of my items, I'm going to defend myself. I love you. I told the sheriff this, man, I love you as a friend. You're a good person. I respect you. But the day that you come for my personal items is the day that I will die. And that is coming up maybe in 3 weeks, somewhere around there. So I probably have 3 weeks to live. And this is insane because I was in pursuit of the American dream. I don't think I've had a parking ticket in 25 years. And here I am. I lost all of my civil rights. I'm losing everything I own. My historic bar, restaurant, hotel is up for sale. I filed for bankruptcy, and I never even been inside of a courtroom. You have no idea what corruption is. If you think you're dealing with corruption, come to Wayne County, Pennsylvania. Now I wait to die. I'm going to defend everything I own till my death. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but I've been unable to get the governor or the Department of Justice or anybody to even pay attention. Nobody cares. So if that's the way it is, let's do this. Hi, my name is Phil Lather. I own Moon Shadow Inn and Resort in Beach Lake, Pennsylvania. That is Wayne County, PA. Back in 20